Hey everybody, it's Casual Boobs coming at you with another video, and today we're going to cover the LT-432, the Tier 8 Russian premium light tank that was it was on the advent calendar and had a lot of good things to say about it, and I'm going to cover a replay by the tank now, just so you can kind of see, I guess, what it can do or what you missed if you didn't pick it up. Yeah, you should have picked it up, for the record. Anyways, okay, so just real quick, we're getting to the stats and then we'll move on. Basically, the gist of it is the DPM is really good. The accuracy is good. The turret reverse accuracy is dispersion is really good. It's an 85 millimeter, so that's the one thing that kind of lets it down. The damage is 180, which is fine for it's actually good for a tier 6, and it's okay for a tier 7, but for a tier 8, it's kind of blah. It's APCR standard, and AP is the premium round. It's kind of weird, but 218, like light tank tier 8 penetration is never going to be, you know, awesome, but it's fine. It gets the job done. The alpha damage on the AG, like I said in the Advent video, is 300, which is hilarious. So where this really shines is like you can pen more things than you'd expect. Artillery, Barasks, bat chats, anything made of paper, this thing just eats. Other light tanks, oh my god, you know, 1357s, you eat these things all day. Anyways, so this is just another tool in your toolbox. But basically, yeah, top speed is 70. It's very maneuverable. It has it's a 380 view range is kind of blah, but it has a 3-man crew that matches the French light tanks, but it also matches the T-100 LT, the tier 10 Soviet light tank. Which I think is important because you can drop that crew right into this tank and you're good to go. 7 degrees of gun depression all over the place, which is silly. And then the armor, just to keep things moving here, is again, well, the thing is tiny. The tank is absolutely tiny. It's hard to show here. You'll see it in the game, but like 2 Shermans would be about the same, or like 2 of these things would be about the same size as a Sherman. So it's just itty bitty tiny thing. And the turret is surprisingly good, right? Like, I bounce a lot of stuff off of this thing for whatever reason. It's got this cupola, but like, you're not going to aim for a cupola. This whole thing is just tiny. And if you're poking a hill, you got this auto bounce kind of angle thing going on in the upper plate. So like, if you're using gun depression, the armor especially gets really stupid, and you can just poke over and expose your turret and just try to hit that little tiny thing, right? And, you know, but hit there, but don't hit there. Like, the turret is surprisingly good. So for something as fast as it is, this tank is excellent. I think it's probably second, maybe tied for second for best premium tier 8 in the game, possibly. That's debatable. I think it's definitely the EBR premium is probably the best tier 8 light tank, and this is probably the second best tier 8 light tank, but you could call this a tier 8 and medium tank and you wouldn't be wrong either. So anyways, without further ado, we'll get into the replay. Alright, so we're going to get into the replay here, and we're watching Thunder play his LT-432 on Kharkov, and it's an all tier 8 game. There are 2 light tanks each team. He's one of them, obviously. There's no wheelie boys, and 1 artillery per team. Otherwise, it's fairly standard. You know, you got the GSORs, you got a few tank destroyers, a few medium tanks, a few heavy tanks. It's a pretty standard, like, all tier 8 game with a good mix of things. So right away, Thunder's going to head up to the 1-2 line, see if he can do some counter spotting. And I don't generally like to do this because this just seems like it's very the line between getting good spots and doing good things and evaporating because you've been shot by the entire enemy team is very, very short, very small. So Thunder's going to get a good shot in here, and he's sticking around for a second shot, which is really risky. And there we go. Okay, so the T-69 bounces tracks him once, bounces a shot, and the GSOR bounces a shot too. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is a light tank, ladies and gentlemen. A light tank just bounced, what was that, 800 damage, and one of which was from a GSOR. And here's the soft stats I'm talking about. Like, the accuracy, like, this is what it's, like, you don't get very much alpha, so the trade-off is that you can just snap shots all day. And that's what this tank does. So, the pew-pew is real. You know, like, he probably didn't deserve to hit that ISU 152K, but here we are. Yeah, and so Thunder's going to try to retreat, but he gets lit, and, like, you don't want to be predictable, right? So I don't think he's planning on coming back, but he doesn't want to be predictable, so he kind of circles around, tries to stay under their guns before he leaves, which he is now going to do. Yeah, he's pretty much out safely. You can see on the minimap there the rings on the minimap that no one's going to spot him now because he's got ninja levels of camo. So yeah, we're pretty much safe. And this is, you know, we're doing 70, right? So light tank things. Now we're going to zip around and see if we can't. So Thunder just got lit, And that, to me, says the only way he could have gotten spotted from where he was is there must be a light tank. Probably the LT-432 hasn't been spotted yet, so he must be in the middle at like E5, Echo 5. So this is just something like where having Sixth Sense, even if you don't, like, that gives you information, right? Like, now we know there's an LT in the middle, probably, right? That's the only conceivable thing, because the GSOR was back on the one line in the back and hit Thunder, so, like, you could use that, like, he's not going to do anything with it, we're not going to go hunt down an LT, but we could, you know, or we could ping it for our allies or something like that. So now this VK is dead. I see this mistake happen a lot where people will say, I can save you, and they run in there, and then it turns in, those guys are, it's a 2v1 and that guy's dead, and then you run in there, you try to save him, and it's another 2v1, and then they eat you too. So Thunder's making the right choice here. He was going to totally, you know, just totally leave, but instead he decides to wait. But he didn't run in there with his face and try to save the VK, because the VK is already dead. It's important to, you know, note that. So the Bisante is making the cardinal sin. He's saying, I will do it! I can do this! And this is really risky. Like, Bisante's got 1,000... He's got a clip potential of 1,000 damage. And then he's basically out of the fight. Auto-aims are risky, and this is why, yeah, so... This is why I never, you know, they call it auto-aim is basically auto-miss, right? And so here's... Ooh. Okay, so that Scorpion whizzed over the top of Thunder, which means he's I gotta get out of here. Getting in, tucked in a little bit so that the Scorpion that's backing up the 252 can't help him. And aim, Thunder, aim. You gotta aim a little bit. And okay, and that's it wasn't a low roll, it was 194, but this is the downside to the low alpha, right? 194 is still above the 180 average damage, but it's still not really going to get it done either. And so this Scorpion is okay. So now Thunder's got HE loaded, and oh, shell velocity. Okay, this is a little bit unfortunate, but he's also not running his face in to the Carnarvon. And lol doesn't matter. Accuracy doesn't matter. So he's going to be unspotted and try not to get tagged by all these tank destroyers. And you might as well send a shot, because why not? And now we just get to eat these guys. These guys are all... they tried to push in and assist their team while our team was distracted, while Thunder's team was distracted. And they didn't do it well enough. They didn't do it fast enough. So then they got... You know, we cleaned up those, you know, the Tiger 2 and the 252, and then everybody kind of wrapped around, and then those guys were hung out to dry. So now Thunder's going to wait until he's unspotted, because this is the kill zone. You go right past here. All the tank destroyers at H3 on the hill can see you. So he smartly waits until he's unspotted, and wait for it. Loads an HE shell, specifically reloads an HE shell, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is what it's all about. People are saying, well, the penetration of the HE shells isn't very good. What are we going to do? This doesn't seem very useful. Oh, it is, and that's why. So, like, you know, I just want to, like, cover the fact that, like, Thunder is just trouncing this team. He's just running, just kind of doing what he wants, you know? This, like... this is, like, best case scenario for an LT where, like... They don't really, like, there's enough holes in the enemy team where he can kind of get in there and flex around and do what he wants. And the Scorpion G is a one-shot. We don't know exactly where he is, but Thunder knows that no matter... auto-aim for the win. It doesn't matter, right? Because if that Scorpion would have snapped him somehow, he would have maybe done 500, and you know, assuming that Thunder didn't get lit on fire, which is not... You know, that could happen. That's happened to me before. But he should have, you know, that was a pretty safe push. Especially because the Scorpion was a one-shot, so... Now we just get in here and see if we can get some cleanup damage. Yes! Alright, so we're on 7 kills, just 2 tanks left. There's lots of hit points left to farm here. And this is the other nice thing about playing a light tank, is that you get to, you get that cleanup speed, you know? Like, you get to be able to get into position. Like, that VK-75 in the town, he's not probably going to get anything else out of this game, because he's just too slow. So... But Thunder, being at the speed that he is, gets to clean up another kill. And now it basically doesn't matter. It's, I mean, I guess I would auto-aim too and try to see if you can lol circle him. And we do get tagged once, but like, look at the speed on this stupid thing. and the even 90 is clipped out. This is why I hate the even 90. He was clipped out. There was nothing he could do there. So there was one shot left, and he had 35 seconds left to wait. But Thunder didn't. And yeah, so wow, what a game. Alright, so at the end of the game, Thunder ended up picking up 3,400 damage, 9 kills, 800 block damage, lol, which ended up being an ace tanker. He got a Radley Walters for the 9 kills, a tank sniper for not missing a whole bunch and shooting a bunch of stuff at range, I guess. And then, of course, the Top Gun for the above 6 kills. I don't know, some of these medals are kind of redundant, wargaming. Anyways, and that brings it up to 1,488 base XP, which is tremendous. And I will say this tank is surprisingly hard to ace. Like, the last time I played this tank, it took a considerable amount of effort. Like a game like this, where like you're kind of just doing it all to get the ace. So congratulations to Thunder for getting the ace. And he actually made a pretty healthy profit too. He ended up with 166,000 profit. You know, there was, I think this is during the holiday ops, and so he ended up coming in with 90,000 extra. But even without that, I think he probably would have been able to, you know, that, what's that math out to? 70,000 or so? I don't know. 90,000, that's what it is. Would have made 90,000 in that game, so good stuff. Yeah, and so that's the replay, and hopefully this has helped you guys to decide whether you want to buy the most one of the best light tanks in the game, or, you know, help you figure out how to deal with them, which is I don't know. Don't you know, like, I guess you would want to leverage your good alpha relative to that. So trade, right? Let him shoot you once, and then you shoot him once, and then you pull back, and then you know what I mean? But any good LT-432 player isn't going to let you do that. So it's just a good tank. But yeah, that's it. And congratulations to Thunder, and thanks for sending in the replay, guys. And we'll see you in the next one. Okay, thanks. Bye.